And we are live. Thank you for tuning in. This is a collaboration between 3 different content creators, which makes up 4 different YouTube channels. Rice TVX, Pimpy's Investment Chat, Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes, and M Seeker of Truth. You've tuned in for the latest transmission of Stranger Than Fiction on Rice TVX. This is a Great Awakening Truth Seeker Roundtable discussion. If you're not subscribed to all of our YouTube channels, links will be down below. We are currently live streaming on Rice TVX and M Seeker of Truth channels, and it will be uploaded to one of Pimpy's channels after we're done. We're going to go ahead and get this show started. Before we begin the stream, I got to go ahead and give a few messages from some sponsors of Rice TVX. And once we begin, I'll give Pimpy and Em a chance to do their promos. Here. All right, so again, this is a collaboration between Pimpy's channels, Pimpy's Investment Chat, Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes, M's channel, M Seeker of Truth, and my channel, Rice TVX. Make sure you're subscribed to all of our channels. Again, links will be down below in the video description. So real quick, I want to just do my little thing here. I encourage people to check out my Patreon channel. This is where you can get early access to videos. I post up exclusive content, and it's a way to support the channel directly. Make sure you're following myself and Pimpy's Investment Chat, Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes on Library and Odyssey. I'm not sure if M's on Odyssey and Library. If not, we're going to get him on there, and we're going to make sure that you're following him as well. Me and Pimpy are both working with Money Metals Exchange. The way that our partnership works is you can get a free ½ ounce of silver. Visit moneymetals.com, purchase $100 or more, use the promo code either Rice or the promo code Pimpy. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's an additional way to support the channel as well. This is the link for Pimpy's Investment Chat. This is the page for Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes. And this is M Seeker of Truth channel. Again, links are down below. And I didn't want to be selfish. I keep some of my stuff, so I didn't want to show my own channel. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you are subscribed. But without further ado, today I am joined by Pimpy.
I'm sorry, like a Cold Bear confessional. I couldn't help it. In honor of the show today, I just wanted to just display my own glasses there.
Oh, love it, dude. Those are awesome.
Those are awesome.
So they're
real. They're not actually a filter.
The reason we decided to do this is me and Pimpy did a video a couple of weeks ago called Poppin' Hopium Balloons, and M was in the chat. M has been covering and exposing some individuals, from Greg Hallett to Charlie Ward to time traveling multidimensional jumpers to Spanish criminals. So Pimpy said
the pixie dust coming out of their ass, you know, the whole 90s.
Pimpy's like, I gotta talk to this M. So I said, well, let's do a round table. And here we are. So M, I guess for people who are unfamiliar with you, because you've been on my channel before, this will be the first time that you're going to be on something with Pimpy. You want to do a kind of a brief introduction as to who you are, and then I'll let Pimpy explain why he wanted to talk with you, and then we'll get into this awesome roundtable.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, guys, for inviting me on. I was hoping to do catch up with Pimpy at some point, so I was glad to see in that popping hopium balloons video that you guys had mentioned me. Glad to be on with you guys. I think you pretty much summed it up. I mean, I started off, I'm a truth seeker, and I've been researching conspiracy theory and alternative truths for many, many years, nearly since I was a kid. But somehow I happened across this Greg Hallett thing last year, you know, the fake king. And around the same time, Rice, you were looking into him, and it went from there. Really, I started looking into him, and I found so much wrong with it. But thousands and thousands of people were chucking money at this guy. You know, who, when I looked into it, and we both spoke to his sisters, Rice, didn't we? And looked into his ancestry, and it didn't add up. And he plugged in famous. You know, it was like he was a great researcher. And then he plugged in all these fantasies and made himself the king in this story, and we found all the holes in the story.
And Christ.
And Christ, sorry. Yeah, how could I leave that out? It wasn't just King of England. It was King of the world.
We know Christ and we know an angel.
Yeah, so yes. So I found out listening to one of your videos earlier, Pimpy. That's how it started out. And then, you know, it led on to all of these people that were supporting this fake king, knowing he was a fake king, taking money and not telling the whole truth. And then I've just kind of fallen into this, exposing people that are misleading people for money. And then so recently we started Griftbusters. We've got 3 other guys on the panel, Justice being one of them, who's done many videos with me. And yeah, we just set out to literally expose anything that we find that is lies or misleading or scams or cons, especially within the truther community. And at this moment in time, you know, it's very popular, especially certain figures are very popular and are making unfathomable amounts of money off of their listeners.
Yeah, so I would encourage people to make sure that you're checking out your channel, the Grift Buster videos, and then especially those 30 reasons why I don't trust Charlie Ward. This child trafficking victim remembers Charlie Ward. Very interesting stuff. Charlie Ward on the top of the pops, where he's basically pimping for the host. Per se, no, I mean, there's no money exchange involved, but it was like, if you want to go backstage, you know what you got to do. You know what girls do when they go backstage. So that's what.
Well, you know, we don't even need to what's the word? He actually said it in the video. We don't need to say, oh, you know what happens back there. He says, you know, he says to these girls.
Everybody knows. Yeah, he was up front. But so Pimpy, what made you specifically want to get in touch with him? And the reason I'm saying this too is because you had a relationship with Charlie Ward. You've had to address some issues because of false information being put out. So what made you want me to connect you with Mr. M?
Well, I mean, you know, somebody had brought a video of his to my attention, and we just kind of chuckled about it. Then he sent me over another one, and I said, this guy's not far off base. If he only knew the truth, it's very interesting. And my friend's like, well, you should probably contact him. You could talk to him. I said, I'll think about that. I have to figure out how to reach out to him. Well, it just so happens when we were doing our interview, and he commented in his section, I said, oh, wow, there he is. And so, as usual, Rice knows everybody. I said, man, we should talk to that guy one of these times. So, but anyways, let's get over to the first part. I love how just because I've done a couple of interviews with Charlie, everybody already automatically.
All 3 of us have had a video of at least one video, if not more, with Charlie Ward. So we all have actual experience, intimate experience. So this isn't coming from us just spouting out opinion. This comes from actual interactions and then sharing those interactions with each other. And then before we get into that too, we don't have to go into full details, but your theory, Pimpy, that me and you came up with that you initiated about QAnon Galt.
Yeah.
M is kind of in agreement, and we could talk more about that later, but I just wanted to say that because he's had experience with the alter ego potentially and kind of is in agreement with where we're at. But yeah. Number one, where were you going before I did that?
So anyways, I was just going to briefly explain how the whole me and Charlie thing came about. You know, a friend of mine who travels around a lot hits me up one time. He says, you know, every now and then he'll tell me, hey, have you heard of this guy? And I go, no. He's like, he's over in, Ireland, and watch his videos just talking about you. And I'm listening to this guy. He's going crazy. It's pretty funny. And then he'll go, hey, have you heard of this guy? And I go, no. He was talking about you on the video. And I go, I don't know all these people. And he goes, then he calls me up and he goes, what the F? And I was like, what? He goes, do you know Jack Kidd? I go, no. He goes, do you know Charlie Ward? And I go, no. He goes, dude, I know those guys. I said, okay. He says, they're talking about you in the video. I said, all right, but I don't know them. So he sends me the link. He tells me to watch it. And in the video, Jack Kidd is trying to explain to Charlie this whole NESARA GESARA thing. And he's telling Charlie about me. So I hit back up my friend. I says, yeah, I don't know those guys. I mean, people talk about me in the videos all the time. I mean, what's the big deal? He goes, but I know these guys. He goes, you know, it would be cool. Reach out to them. And I said, reach out to who? He goes, reach out to Charlie. And I was like, okay. So I don't remember how it happened, but I just put out one of my videos that I was interested in talking to him, and that's what happened. That's how everything started. But as time went on, you know, people started, my idea and approach on the whole NESARA GESARA, we quickly learned was not the same as everybody else's. I said, you know, what happened for me as I'm talking to April and AJ, they're telling me these stories about Santa surfing, these people claiming that their mortgages and student loans and crap were taken care of. And I thought, that's weird. And my money used to come out of my bank every month on time. I'd never been late. So I was like, okay, this is interesting, because it stopped for some reason. I never even thought about it. So I went to my credit report, and sure enough, it was gone. I was like, what the hell? But I didn't want to get overly excited. So I called the creditor the next day, and sure enough, they told me it's not there. It's been discharged. Well, as a person who deals with credit, the words discharge are bad. It means it's been written off. But I go, what do you mean by discharge? Because I've been making payment. She says, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's not there. So I was like, huh, okay, very interesting. So I did a video and I explained to people, when I said in this video is, look, my student loan is gone. Now, whether you want to call it NESARA GESARA or whatever the hell the reason, you know, it's gone. Okay. That shit spread like wildfire.
That was a student loan, wasn't it? You were saying before. See, my issue with this is, you know, because I'd heard you say this story before, quite interesting, and God, I wish it would happen to me, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. And I've heard stories, actually, a few people have said that they've had things written off. So you're not alone with that, or seemingly you're not alone. But my issue would be if they were doing some sort of reset and clearing debts and things like that. Would they really do it systematically, one person at a time, over a number of years to clear off people's debts, or would it be something that would be literally closing down the whole system?
And also, I got to say too, like, I think that Pimpy, with what he explained about what happened to him, he wasn't trying to relay that information as like, this is 100% what's going to happen to you. Yeah. So, no, I think that's kind of what Ward was doing, and that's what differentiates. So for the people who want to be like, oh, Pimpy was one of Charlie Ward's originals, that, you know, that wasn't the case. It was more of Charlie Ward was leeching on to anybody he could. And ultimately, I feel like when you're talking about the Truth Seeker movement, I just feel like ultimately some stuff's going to come out. He's going to be discredited, and it's going to discredit a lot of the people that work with him that are real truth seekers, that are trying to do some real good work, that's going to be damaged because of working with Charlie Ward.
Well, I do want to answer that question, though. So, you know, I understand what you're asking, and it's a good question. But here's my thing. I didn't know anything about this NESARA GESARA thing. People were bringing it to my attention. So now that my student loan was gone, I was like, well, now I have to look into this, because I did. I dug into it big time. I went through it and I said, look, some of this is kind of way out in left field. And I said that many times. I go, look, there's some of these stories about NESARA GESARA, about this Saint Germain thing, or these aliens and crap like that. And I thought, man, all these different stories, it sounds too kumbaya. But then I came across one that looked more grounded. And I said to myself, I wonder how much of this is legitimate. So I went to look into it, and there's nothing. I heard stories about Bill Clinton had a gun to his head. And in my videos, I said that's bullshit, because anybody that signs anything under duress, it's not valid. I mean, I've made all these points, but I wanted to go through and see if I can prove any of this. So as I went down the list, what I would do is make a video and just tell people, look, this is as close to this particular item as I found that would prove this. And I said, see, this seems that whatever it's called, and I wanted people to get away from calling it NESARA GESARA, because there was no proof that this announcement of NESARA GESARA would come out. But what I would say is, look, whatever's happening, this started happening once Trump got into office. Now, I don't know if this is a quidinky-dink or not, but I was only able to prove some of the things on the list. The rest of the stuff about the going to the Vatican is stealing the gold, I was like, no, I'm not going down this path. It's just crap. So over time, we had Santo was talking with Charlie, and I was talking to Charlie, and we were being interviewed, and then all of a sudden Charlie just lets out. He goes, we've all three officially been approached about being the ambassadors of NESARA GESARA. And I was like, we did?
Really?
Okay, I'm not aware of this. I didn't get the invite, but okay. I was not. That's what happened. Was that was my first little thing that something's kind of quirky, but I was like, whatever. Maybe it's just something I didn't get.
That's so much pressuring you on the spot into a lie. Like this happened, didn't it?
Well, but I didn't go. Yeah, sure. I didn't do that. And then he's like, we got to sign NDAs. I was like, we do? Okay, so all right, so I just let him go on in the interview, and I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? Maybe it's something I'll get. I just don't. I don't know, but that's kind of weird. This will be interesting, is what I'm thinking. As time goes on, things start changing, and the way the stories were coming out, the interviews, they started becoming a little bit more out there. Now, I do a lot of different types of videos, so I don't have time to run around all the time to catch people's videos. Usually what happens is somebody in the group will say, hey, did you hear what Charlie said? And I said, no, what did he say? Show me the link. And then I'll go and I check it out and I go, no. And I have to go through. If enough people bring it to my attention, then I have to go out and I make a video going, no, this is bullshit. All right, you guys. And then I would explain to them why. But then whenever you do anything that does not line up with Charlie, all hell breaks loose. You're a black hat, you're now CIA, you're a shill, you get all these attacks. Well, there is literally a little army that is behind them. You guys just don't know about it. There's a paid army.
Go ahead real quick. So I've mentioned Lee Hemington. Lee kind of works on the behind the ends thing with Charlie Ward, and then he's doing the NESARA GESARA Club thing, and he was running Charlie's social media. Someone else is doing that, so he's not working as closely with Charlie. But from what I understand from talking to you, is they've hired like a little army of people that can go out and like, comment, and subscribe to videos that can do research and all that.
So they're like an army that can jack up your videos, they can either push you, make it look a real positive, which is smart. It's a smart tactic.
But it's not organic. It's not real.
No. And
I would use someone like Nicholas Viniamin. I would use as a perfect example of that, because his content to me, not just beyond the personal issues, I don't really find a lot of substance in his content, but yet he's getting a lot of views and a lot of subscribers. So it makes me think that what Lee Hemington is doing with the little army of internet trolls, or whatever you want to refer to them as, is helping to make all of the spinoffs of the Charlie Ward Show successful, regardless of the actual substance of content.
Yeah. I mean, he's been made, hasn't he?
Yeah, really. Yeah, he's definitely been made, 100%.
Now the NESARA GESARA Club that you're talking about, I was having problems with YouTube, and all of a sudden I got contacted. They said, hey, look what we did for you. And I was like, what do you mean what you did? You're on this NESARA GESARA Club thing.
I was about to ask you this.
So, I didn't even know this. And I go over there, I go, what is this? And they go, yeah, well, this is our way of making sure that your videos get preserved. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't think nothing of it. And I was like, all right. He goes, so just tell people that, your profile is here, that if something ever happens, they can go here. But make sure they sign up for the newsletter. So I was pumping that for a little while because, I was having trouble with, YouTube. And then it dawned on me. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This newsletter thing, you guys are putting together. If I look at all the people that are on this website, if they're pushing all their subscribers towards newsletters, you guys are building up one hell of a database, and it's very valuable. So what the hell? And do we have access to this? Yes, you have access to this. I was like, okay. So I really wasn't pumping it anymore after that, because I found out one thing, that when I removed the video off YouTube, then it fell off into NESARA GESARA. So truthfully, it wasn't being secured on there. It was just being used to bring a lot of our subscribers over to their direction.
I wanted to highlight this and just tell all in on, as much as you're supportive of the channel. We can't always agree. and I'm going to agree to disagree with you here. I don't find that Russell J. Gould is in honor at all. He's completely out of honor, so that would, to me, discount that statement. But we can agree to disagree. I just wanted to say that if you ever want to cover Russell J. Gould, or I know you had reached out to me about somebody else, you are good to go.
Okay, well, so, so there's a few things here.
And thank you for asking me about that particular situation. I appreciate you.
I'll explain that, because I'll touch on that and I'll explain, what I did with that. But just quickly on the Gazara Club thing. We were talking about. Oh God, I've forgotten what I was going to talk about now. It's throwing me off.
Were you going to talk about MLK's porn?
No, nothing to do with MLK.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a Russell J. Gould thing that sort of tripped me up, because I'd heard a bit about him and I'd seen you'd done interviews with him, but I didn't really look into it too much. And I thought I'll go back and just have a look at a Pimpy video 7 months ago, and it was about Russell J. Gould and your experience with him. So it was quite interesting to me, because it was kind of like you'd got caught up personally with a guy who was grifting and had this Postmaster General thing going on, and actually you found out more about him. But by this point, you'd already given him some money, which he never got back.
$1,300.
Right? Sorry?
$1,300.
$1,300. And what was he saying he was going to do for you?
Well, here's my thing. I was skeptical, but I was like, well, you never know. Let's find out. So when I had my father and me got a house together, and I was going for my master's degree, I wasn't at the house. My father signed the paperwork. I'm supposed to sign it. Never happened. My father said, I got it. Don't worry about it. We still have the house together. Time went on. My father passed away. So it was hell trying to get control of the house, because I was not on the paperwork. So I was going through some legal stuff, and I brought it up to Russell. Russell's like, hey, no problem. I know what I can do for you. And I was like, okay, let's hear it. And he's telling me, not only can I get the house under your name, but I can get it free and clear. You won't owe no money. And I was like, okay. How you going to do this? Well, $1,300. And he went on to tell me about this mumbly jumbly and how contracts don't work. And I was like, well, it sounds good. So what the hell do I got to lose? Again, still skeptical, but for $1,300, I thought,
you gambled.
I gambled. It's worth it. Let's see what happens. And nothing happened. And so, you give, you learn. It's not like I was going to, it changed my whole entire living because I lost $1,300.
No, but you want to kick his, you do want to kick his ass and cause him harm for it, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not just. Well, it's the principle behind the $1,300.
Yeah.
But for me,
I'd be annoyed.
It's
funny to be annoyed.
Yeah,
about,
look,
right?
This sounds bad, but I beat up one of my closest friends for $35 that he owed me, and it wasn't because I was mad about the money. It was the principle behind it. That's when I was younger, and I used to do stuff like that. I used to be like, look, I caught this guy 5 years later. He was a guy that my girlfriend cheated on. 5 years later, I caught him and beat him up, and he's like, dude, that's like 5 years ago. I go, it's the principle. You know what I mean? It's the point. I never could catch you before that. So it's just one of those things. But as you get older, those types of stupidities, you don't, that doesn't happen. Like, when I was younger, I was that way. But for Russell, it's more than that. There's a lot of other things I know about Russell that other people don't know, outside of the fact that he took $1,300 from me.
Yeah.
Real quick, Em, can you go onto your YouTube channel, into your back end, and make sure that it's not live unlisted? Because I've done everything that we did earlier with the test, and it should be. I noticed it wasn't showing publicly live, but I don't know if somehow it got listed as an unlisted video.
I've got the live page up, and there's nothing on it. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I just sent you a screenshot.
Yeah, in the future.
We did a test run, Pimpy, earlier to make sure that this worked, and it did work. And then he was just sending a message in a private chat saying that it didn't look like it was live on his channel, and I noticed that. On Facebook, I sent you a screen, like a picture I just took where it shows where you're connected. So I'm not sure why it didn't do what it did.
That's
earlier.
all right. So basically what I've done is I've gone on to, I've asked someone through Messenger to post your link. So hopefully some people will funnel in.
Well, there's a good amount of people, but I'll send you what I'll do is I'll download this and then put it on a WeTransfer as soon as we're done and send it right over to you. So you can just pop it right up.
No worries. Sorry,
I just wanted to mention that real quick, and I apologize for that, man.
No, that's okay. It's all right. I mean, the technical issues. I'd never streamed live the way that we're trying this time, actually. So yeah, it's okay. It's not a big deal. I don't usually go live to my channel anyway. So
originally I was going to record it, but you mentioned something about the live, so then I set it up as a live, and then and it kind of defeated the purpose because I wanted it to be on your channel as well.
It's okay. It'll be on there later. I'm sure some of the guys will figure it out and come over to your channel to watch it, and other people will wait. So it's not a big deal. We'll carry on.
So go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I wanted to continue full circle back with Charlie, if that's okay. So you know, Charlie reached out to me, and his videos are being taken down. Well, he did. Some of his videos are taken down. I'm thinking, that's who might have questioned. I've seen it happen to so many of my friends, so I just took it at their word that the videos are being taken down. I said, okay, that's interesting. So not only do they have this Sarah Jacera Club, but they decided, since they've been taken down so many times, that they're going to create this new website. And I said, okay. And they had partnered up with somebody, and I said, okay, and have this network with millions of people in it. And I said, that's interesting. So no big deal. I didn't think nothing of it. And then I go, why would they take Charlie's videos down? When I went there, it said something about the content was deleted by the creator or something like that. And I was like, that's not being removed. Maybe Charlie just took his videos down. So that's what I was thinking. And I didn't think nothing of it. But again, a lot of us I've had my videos edited. I've had them removed. I've had them, it changed. So it's no big deal. I just took it at face value. So when the new website went up and Charlie started, charging people per month, well, they approached me and they said, look, we got this network of people. And I said, okay. They go, we'd like for you just to come on and talk about gold and silver. I said, sounds good. I don't have a problem with it. Well, they want to create this web page for me and do all kinds of fancy things. And I was like, so what did you guys have in mind? And they're like, well, we have our own affiliates. We just want to be able to put them on your page, and then we'll give you something out of whatever the sales are. And I was like, what are the products? Because I don't talk about products that I don't use or don't know about. Well, we'll get into that later. Okay, so I had to set up my own domain and set up my own Stripe account, and they're explaining how it works. I said, okay, this is interesting. So they want all the money to go to my Stripe account. And okay, then I pay them out of it. And then I was like, here's the thing. So if this money is coming to my Stripe account, and then I pay you guys out of it,
you're going to be taxed 100%. They're not taxed at all.
How do we do the taxes on this?
That's all on you at that point.
Dead silent. Wow. I was like, okay, no problem.
That was a smart move on them.
No problem.
Yeah,
so
all in on, you're right.
Here's when I start realizing there's a lot of this is BS. So I go down, and a friend of mine, he's telling me, these people want to talk to you about, fixing up your videos because, it's kind of amateurish. And I said, okay. And we get over there. We start talking, but then they change their mind. They're saying, actually, after talking to the wives, they saw your videos. They said, I wouldn't change them because it's more down to earth. They give him the whole foofla. He does it straight through. Even if he makes, screw up, he doesn't try to fix them. And, he's going. They like that. There's something about that they appeal to him. So as we're talking, I started complaining about, we saw what happened to Parler, how Parler was just removed. And I said, that's a shame. And the guy goes, well, we could create a platform. I was like, what do you mean? And I told him that I was going to be working with Charlie and these people on this platform. He goes, who are they? And I told him, he goes, well, let's take a look at them. Now, these guys are computer geeks. And I jump on there, look at a platform, and I go, these guys trying to tell me that they spend tens of thousands of dollars to create our platforms. Therefore, if we come aboard, just understand it costs a lot of money. He goes, no, they use a template. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, it takes like 5 minutes to do. I said, how do you know that? Well, they could look on there and tell you that isn't no tens of thousands of dollars. It's one of these ones you just go and you just plug the crap in. And I was like, are you serious? So now I was kind of like a little upset about that because they kind of give it his pitch. And I go, he goes, well, what do they got? They say he's got millions of views. The guy goes, hold on. And he goes in there. He goes, no. I said, no, what? He goes, they changed the codes on there to make it look more like they have more subscribers than they do. And the views aren't even enough to register on this special website that they go to that tells everybody. It's like a snitch site, tells you how much traffic, organic traffic is there. He goes, for this website, there's not even enough to register. And I go, what the hell does that mean? He goes, yeah, he says the numbers are lying. And I was like, man. So after that, I was like, Yeah, if this is what I'm already finding out, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not cool about this website. I don't want to do this. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in it, and I just stopped communicating with them. But time went on, and now all these videos. Trump has his army for 60 days past. I was like, what? No, he doesn't. Oh, Trump is in Switzerland with the Air Force. No, he's not. And then they brought in Wetworks on us. Is that his name? No, what's his name? The guy that does the air traffic controlling, MonkeyWorks. MonkeyWorks got dragged in this because they're like, MonkeyWorks confirmed that Trump is there. MonkeyWorks like, no, I didn't. He's like, I'm like, look at they're dragging this guy. And I was like, there's too many shady things. And then again, I'm not in Charlie's little private group. And people are going, oh, did you hear this about the QFS system? And I was like, here's my thing. We have not, at the time, we had not been able to prove that it existed. The only reason why I even came back and made a correction is because my friend said, oh, by the way, that QFS system thing is real. I said, okay, but didn't have any details. And I was like, gosh damn it, see, you put me in this pickle. I don't like talking about things that I can't prove at the time.
So you're not convinced that God's got his fingers on the switch of the top secret quantum financial system?
I thought it was the aliens. What happened? It was the aliens of God.
Aliens to be in a sentient.
So here's what I'll show you something that you'll notice.
AI.
Yeah. Now watch. Here's what happened. So the information, that video that was out, I quickly debunked and said this information was taken off other websites and crammed together to make it look like QFS. So I debunked the actual video itself. At the time, I didn't know it came from Charlie. Everybody raised hell. Oh, that's Charlie. You're attacking Charlie. I was like, I'm attacking this. I don't know who put it out. So it's just fake. But, there's no proof that the QFS system exists. And then my friend goes, oh, actually it does. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? It does? He goes, yeah, it does. But he had no way. And I came back and I said, everybody, look, it's against my better judgment. I will say this. And I told him the truth. Look, there's no proof. But my friend said it exists. Well, a few weeks later, somebody from Twitter says, look, here is the QFS system. Here's the link. And I said, okay. And I went to it and I was like, this looks like all the same crap that people are regurgitating on YouTube. And then it dawned on me, could this be where they're getting the information from? So then I dug into everything that was on there. Oh, this system sits in the AIIS. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. And I went into the AIIS. They talked about it and who all their partners are. And their partners are, of course, with BIS and China. And I went into it and I said, oh, this isn't good. So I tried calling these guys and they will let me talk to them and I'm allowed to record it. I'm trying to do that here soon. Is this thing real? Well, it's real. But come to find out, here's the thing. This isn't controlled by America. This isn't a Trump thing. This is controlled by China. Chinese engineers put this thing together according to all the different websites. And I was like, okay. And they are partnering up with the Bank of International Settlements and the AIIS, which is controlled by China. And I was like, the QFS system is not good, man. Oh man, I put a video out just saying, look, here's the website. You guys go there. So when I talk about these things, I put the links down below. So maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe I'm not looking at this. Maybe somebody could debunk this. So go ahead, you guys.
Here's two articles right here. The first Chinese bank to adopt a quantum financial system, the QFS. And there's the other one here, which talks about everything you need to know about the new financial system, the QFS. And it goes into talking all about kind of what you were just saying with the AIIB, the Asian Investment and Infrastructure Bank. So it's all relating back to China.
Yeah, so it says that's where the QFS system's housed. So then I went to do more research on the AIIS. Then you find out they're linked to the BIS and that they're linked to China. And I was like, oh, yeah,
Why can't I not fucking highlight? So it says the QFS is a financial system created by Chinese engineering teams in collaboration with the engineering teams of other members of the alliance. Which goes into like some of the alliance would be making up.
See the verbiage that they use,
right? The AIIB, the IMF, the WB World Bank.
You know what I mean? And all
right. If you look back at the alliance, what was the last big alliance that we were aware of? I believe it was like involving Germany, Italy.
You talk about the allies.
Allies, yeah.
Yeah, I would say alliance. I don't know about alliance. The allies different, but So, I said, okay, so I try to debunk to myself this website. And they are a legitimate banking website. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. But they are talking about the QFS system. So I have reached out to them. And we're trying to set up where I can interview them because I really want to see how real this thing is It appears to be real. I told everybody these are the links. I share them so people can go read for themselves. Maybe I'm missing something. If I am, let's talk about it. Let's get it out there.
I want to say this is the actual article, Pimpy, the one that you have from Foster Wiss. Is that the right one?
Yep. There's
okay.
2 of them I did from Foster Wiss.
Yeah. And then this one is completely
they start
separate.
pointing you into all these other organizations. When you go to these organizations, you find out that they're, there's other articles like who's controlling the QFS system. There's a battle between China and the United States because when it first was developed, China wanted to encourage the other nations to get rid of the SWIFT system, to go into the QFS is what they said. And what would happen is, there would be no more people doing sanctions. This would replace the, the reserve currency, blah, 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 goes on. But people are going, well, we're not too thrilled about China controlling this. So they're trying to come up with this so-called agreement on who will control it, is how a lot of the information goes on in there. So anyways, what I noticed, all this talk about the QFS from Charlie's people was that Trump controlled it, the white hats have it, it's here in the United States. Now, did I hear this right? I think I heard it from M's show today. Did I hear this right? They sold a quantum financial system, Chinese gold-backed bond. Is that what you said today?
Yeah, some sort of gold-backed bond certificate.
Is it a Chinese? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I said it was from China.
Okay, so you see what happened here. My videos go out there. Nobody so far has been able to debunk them. It alters the narrative that they have, and so now they're like, okay, Chinese has them. So what do? They just go, oh, see, Chinese does have them. And look, I have a Chinese go-back QFS bond. I didn't even know that till I heard your show today, man. I was like, see, this is, it's getting real carried away. And right now, I just don't have any, before when people would talk bad, I just like, look, I'm not into bashing people. But at the same time, I heard lots of stories. We have mutual friends, and they're like, he's a nice guy. And I go, well, he might be a nice guy, but there seems to be a huge con going on. And I definitely don't want my ass drug into this. I heard somebody, another YouTuber bashing Charlie. Then he said something that set me off. He said, see, this is why you can't trust Charlie and his truther friends. And I thought, ooh. Then I went after Charlie and Lee and said, look, when you guys do this bullshit, it isn't just against you. It affects all of us. Even if we don't want to be linked to you, it makes everybody look bad. You got to stop this shit. Oh, by the way, Pimpy, check this out. There's these new dollars coming out of the ATM machines. Let me see them. Send them to me. Okay, no, those are concept dollars. This is a lie. Stop lying. Then the video changed in his. He went from telling everybody they were real dollars coming out of ATM machines. His next video goes, these are concept dollars. I was like, no, that's not what you said originally. And now because I said that, now you're calling them concept dollars. So you see what I'm saying? A lot of people are like, you're starting to notice that you'll come out with some information and then he'll alter his to almost fit your narrative.
Well, so Pimpy, that goes back to what I was telling you, where a lot of people were saying, Charlie's got all this information. What it is let's say there's some Telegram groups where there's a bunch of false information being dropped and everybody's in that group. The difference that Charlie has with a lot of those people in comparison is a lot of people in the 17th letter movement are in the United States. Him being in Spain puts him at a different time difference. He's ahead of us. So he can actually get some information from a Telegram group before someone else because they're sleeping. And he can post it earlier on while everybody's waking up. And from the average individual, they're going to be like, oh, Charlie Ward has all this contacts and all this information when really he just has the benefit of posting it earlier. Came from one guy. Right, but he has that time zone difference of he's 7 hours ahead of me. He's 7 hours ahead of me. He's 10 hours ahead of you. So that's all. So that's an entire half of a day.
Just like in a Dinar, just like in the Sarah Jacera community, you got different people. In the Dinar community, I do the same thing. I'm like, look, this is possible. We'll talk about it, and this is what we should keep an eye on. I don't go saying this is the date, this is the rate. You just don't do that because there's a lot of people who are really praying and need this shit to happen. And when you do this and you mislead them, to me, it's not a cool thing, and I'll get into that. And I'm not talking about coming to my Patreon group so I can give you some special intel. Well, I've nailed so many people in the Dinar community left and right. I've nailed Frank 26 for using my information and passing off his paid group as intel. I was mad as hell. and I did a video and blast him about it. Then there's another guy, and for the life of me, why his name is slipping my mind right now is who Charlie was getting all his information from. When I was listening to Charlie talk, I was like, no, now I know who you're getting information from. And when I called him up, he goes, yeah, that's who I'm getting it from. I go, no, that guy's a fraud, man, and he lies.
And he's a pedophile.
Then that guy went on to tell everybody, brag about it.
He's a known pedophile, right?
I'm Charlie Ward's intel person. I was like, now he's bragging about it. And I was like, oh, man, you don't want to be I told Charlie, you don't want to be affiliated with this guy. This is a bad situation, man. You know, okay. This is where a lot of his intel was coming from. And that guy was out in left field and pulling unicorn with pixie dust out of his ass. And I was like, no. And then one person after another. And I was like, oh, man, this is not a bad situation. But again, I don't pay attention to everybody's videos most of the time. Somebody will bring it to my attention, and I go and I watch it, I listen to it, I go, oh my God. And then I have to go in there and respond to it. But when people go all the time, hey, your friend Charlie, I'm like, when you guys say that, that means something bad happened. I can tell right now. So that's what I do is I go, let's go see what the hell is going on. But the fact that we do interviews with Charlie, that automatically links everybody to him. You're like, no, look, I told everybody several times, he does his thing, I do mine. We're not always going to agree. In the recent cases, we don't ever agree.
Yeah.
But
here's my take on all you've just said. I mean, the affiliation thing, and once you realise, once the information's out there, once you spot him lying, the very least people, if they've been affiliated with him, been doing videos with him, in my eyes, they should be at least distancing themselves, right? Calling them out would be better, because like you said something about misleading and what that does. People are really hoping on this. People have stopped paying their mortgages. People have stopped paying their credit cards because he is saying, well, the QFS system's going live next week. And he's putting dates on these things. Not only that, he's saying things about the med beds are coming out any minute now. People are like, oh God, great, my cancer will cure my cancer. People are pinning, their lives, their hopes on this, and it is serious. And when these things don't come to fruition, it really does hurt people. These people saying, well, if you don't like him, stop watching him. Why are you bashing him? Oh, you're just jealous of this, that, and the other. No,
this is why we did that.
It affects people's life.
This is why we did that.
In your video that I was not aware of him. You did a part of what's that guy's name? Simon. That one of his
Simon Parks
committed suicide, and I was like, look,
maybe not Simon Parks,
I can't tell you how many subscribers. And I said in my videos, look, you guys got to start staying grounded. Stop getting excited when you hear good news. Stop feeling down when it's bad news, because you guys are so emotionally vested in this that some of you guys, man, are about to commit suicide. I said that. I said, so don't do that. Take everything with a grain of salt. Some of you guys are telling me you're not even paying your damn bills because the QFS system is going to take care of everything. I said, don't. I said, man, they're like, hey, Pimpy, I'm going to go out and buy this $1 million home. Do you think so? I'm like, no, don't do that. No, I'm not telling you to do that. But that's when I knew everything was starting to really get to a dangerous level,
Yeah, we all were just quiet. That's like really insane to think that all three of us were just quiet for a second. There was like a moment of silence.
Yeah. Moment of silence for all those affected. Because literally, I've got actual cases. In my YouTube comments, people have said, there was one case where they watched every single Charlie Ward video for months, and they had stopped playing their credit cards. And her good friend had reached out to me and said, I've tried to show her your videos. She's not. This is actually how 30 Reasons come about. She's not listening. I'm really worried about her. She's my good friend.
This was all about, man.
So
that's why we did this. That's why me and Pimpy did this video right here, was to try to expose a little bit.
Try to ground people. You know what I mean? If you really want them to ground it. When people are telling me they're thinking about killing themselves, I'm like, okay, stop. I just give them my phone number. We talk on the phone. I have to walk them off the ledge and say, look.
Yeah, so I had a friend, because of their friend, who had, had stopped paying all their bills and things, and so she's really worried about her and her relationship with her husband all falling apart, her losing her house, all of that sort of stuff. And then she'd give me a couple of things that I had not noticed about Charlie Ward, and she said, "Have you seen this? He said this." And I was like, you know what? I bet we could come up with a good, 10 reasons and put that on a video, and maybe that would wake her up. And then it turned into 20 reasons, 30 reasons, and I could have gone on. But, it took me like 2 weeks to produce that video. And I put a lot of work into making it very succinct. So because people won't listen to you, longer than a couple of minutes if you start waffling on about it. So I was trying to make it like 2 minutes per point. Bang, 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 bang. Here's all my 30 reasons.
Bang, bang, bang.
If you don't get them all, literally, bang,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to infuse humor in it, because if not, you'll lose them. And also sometimes if you don't make light of how serious something is, they will get all doomy and gloomy. So if you can at least make them laugh about it and them go, well, man, I should be kicking myself in the ass. Yeah. At least they're not killing themselves. You know
Look at the bright side. And also, if you've come to realization, then right, okay, so there's only brightness now, right? Because now you've been fooled and you're not going to be fooled again. You've learned a lesson. You're going to stop giving them money. So back to the affiliation part. These people that are carrying on and defending people when they have been exposed, misleading people, they are a massive part of the problem. Whether or not they are saying the lies themselves, they are then going on and supporting their channel. They are going on and they're pushing the rhetoric that comes from them or supporting them in general, knowing that they are hurting people. Now this is a problem, and this people need to start speaking up. And I'm seeing people speak up. We had Kirsten W the other day, who was originally one of the Charlie's Angels. She had seen 30 Reasons and had put out a public post saying, thank God I don't do Fridays with Charlie anymore. She showed the video to Robert David Steele, and he apparently gave her a seething response, so angry that she would post, send anything to him.
He has his own little special website built by those people. He's getting part of the
and he was also once a spook, always a spook. He was CIA
right now. It's
he was CIA, and he speaks about it. And once a spook, always a spook. So
absolutely.
Anybody who associates themselves that tightly with Charlie Ward are just like Charlie Ward. And I will put Sasha Stone in that category. I'll put Oliver Stone's son, whatever the hell his name is. Because he obviously isn't following in his father's footsteps. He's following in Charlie Ward's footsteps. Simon Parks is another one that you should be ashamed of himself. I don't even see how these individuals wake up in the morning and look at themselves in the mirror.
Subscribers killed themselves.
They can't see for all the money. Clogging up their mirror.
So for me, here's my thing. When I'm talking about these subjects, I always say we got to look at it from both sides, you guys. Is it possible these things could happen? Sure, anything is possible, but you just can't be making stuff up and going along. I try to prove what I can. I talk about the things that I could see, but I also share the information, tell people, look, go look for yourself. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe you can shed some light on this. We're all in the same boat together. So, again, it's to talk about it's one thing, but to purposely go out of your way to lie, charge people money, change their lives, ruin their lives, have them commit suicide, man, I don't know how these people could. Maybe they just don't care. I guess it is. When you have people killing,
they're more concerned with the money and money, and with that they have that attitude, and it's a sad attitude to have. I mean, I understand it. It's me against the world, and I'm going to do whatever I can to benefit me and mine, at whatever cost that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Justice did an interview with Charlie Ward, and he said, what about all these people, that they follow your every word? And what do you think, about when they're getting upset about what you say and your impact you can have on people? And Charlie Ward responded, well, it depends how you look at it. You see, I don't look at it like all this new age, thing with, people are so sensitive. He said people are jellyfish these days. I don't get with that. If they can't handle it, they shouldn't watch, sort of thing. It's not my fault, but it is your fault. The impact you have, you've got a personal responsibility. We've all got a responsibility. If we have for people watching us, people paying attention to us on these platforms, we have a personal responsibility to society, to everyone, to care about everyone, to care about we're kind of leaders,
but now at the same time, it's really tragic that people will actually take and believe everything that's said when they shouldn't be doing that. So that we shouldn't have to feel like what we're saying could be leading people or misleading people. So we do have a responsibility.
Get the proof.
Everyone's got their own.
But the viewers have a responsibility to do their own research and not believe something just because me, Pimpy, or M says it. Like, research and fact check us. That's what we really want to encourage people to do. Because I may be spreading misinformation, like innocent misinformation on purpose, just so you can
I was gonna say something
check it, fact check it, and see if like what I said was wrong. And I'll admit what I did. because I want people to do
I
their
do
own
that.
research.
If somebody proves me wrong in something, I have no problem with going on and saying, "Look, I screwed up." There's no problem with that. I'm not so
save
proud.
your
I'm
integrity
not so.
by doing that. You carry on
Now,
covering up this.
For
this
someone
mistake.
like Sasha Stone,
Eventually it's going to bite you in the arse like 7 months later, like with Charlie Ward in the 30 Reasons video.
Or they try to rationalize it.
7 months before. No one said anything about it. No one picked up on it. But one day, someone's going to go, what?
Now, I know everybody's not going to agree with everything that we're saying here. And if Sasha Stone and someone like Russell J. Gould and people like that have done something good in the past, that's all fine and dandy. But who you are today and the actions that you take and what you do to show people who you are says a whole lot more. So it doesn't matter what good you might have done if who you are now is going around as, let's just say that you saved the world and then 20 years later you become a serial killer. Are people going to remember you for saving the world or being a serial killer? So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past, because you can discount everything that you've done and minimize that, even though you did it, because of who you are today. So and it is guilty by association, because someone like Sasha Stone is intelligent enough to know that what Charlie Ward is doing is irresponsible, and he still supports it.
Yeah.
So there's my argument for that. If you want to agree to disagree.
I fully agree.
Well, it's the type of money that these guys are making, man. Did I hear you right? They got a tour bus going on now. They're going to be coming all over here in the United States, and did they have a minimum amount of money they were trying to make? Is that right?
Yeah, I'll try to remember the figure, but it was ridiculous.
5 million.
Another GoFundMe.
But this was like so many thousands a day, and they had to meet those targets to do this. Oh man, I wish I had the figure off the top of my head. But
I think I think I heard you guys say it was like 5 million, and they need to make something like 12 or 14,000 a show or something like that. And I was like, what the hell?
We need a grifter bus.
The grifter
Good
bus,
Lord, man. And guess what?
The 4 of them.
They're literally going to be 20 minutes from me on one of their stops.
It's it's insane. But some people are saying, they think they know that the game is up, and perhaps it's going to be excuses. There'll be excuses down the road. Oh, we couldn't do it because of this, but thanks for the 250 grand. I'm off.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. What happens when they don't come through?
Somebody said 500,000.
500,000, 500,000.
Yeah, a couple people said 5K, 500K.
What?
And here's the sad part, man. There are people who are going to pay it.
Well,
so here's the problem: is what they're doing is they're taking advantage of people who just are hanging on to hope.
Let me tell you what the problem, the real root of the problem is here, and I think both of you will agree. How was Charlie Ward raised? What was he raised in? What did he learn? What the hell is he doing?
Yeah.
I'll answer that with one word: cult. But you guys can fill in the blanks.
No, I remember when I first started schooling him, I was like, why does that sound familiar? I was like, oh, Aleister Crowley. what? You went to the same school place as Aleister Crowley? Is that right? I thought, wow, that's interesting. So, what
it's indoctrination for sure. Like, just
the whole putting his kid into videos, talking about Jesus loves you, even if you're a twat. He knows what he's doing.
I don't like talking about. Let me tell you why I don't like talking about that. Because, man, I want to. This is just probably me being naive. I want to believe there's nothing nefarious there. He's a good kid. The message was a pure message, and now that I heard all these things,
but
now
it tugs at certain people's heartstrings, and it's helping him to create that cult.
It's a ploy.
It's a cult of personality, and he's utilizing it. I'm not saying that he's doing pedophile stuff or that his son is being used in a negative way. I'm just saying he's systematically doing what he's doing to get people's hearts tugged in a certain way. That's why it might even be a form of magic. I mean, that's why I think people are hanging on and believing to it. It is completely irresponsible for those people to actually be believing what Charlie Ward says. Especially when February 6th, he was like given that date, nothing happened, and he was telling people that he was given misinformation on purpose. And by him just saying that, he discounted everything he's ever said and will say because he can't distinguish truth. So, but nobody
can a pretty penny. If you guys only knew how much you make up per week, it'd blow your mind.
Well, we did some quick maths on
we know he's got at least 50,000 people paying 10 British pounds.
Yes, it's 11 euros
€11.
A month. So a
how
month.
would that equate?
It's something like 500. It's over 550 just on Insider Club membership. 550,000 euros per month. Over €500,000 per month.
And
I think we're going about this all wrong,
merchandise,
guys.
book sales, advertising, and all the other money makers in between. That's
so like
just
this video that I was sharing that No Ordinary Life 7 did. Charlie Ward has been a naughty boy. It shows where he fudged where the person who has the website fudged the counter number. But
Yeah.
as M said, even though he's saying like over 1 million, we're talking 50,000. At 50,000, paying that amount of money, going 500,000, a month, you're talking every 2 months, $1 million. Mm-hmm. And what is being done? What is being done to better the world? If he's making that kind of money on the website, why do they need to take donations for a bus if he doesn't need this money because he's already independently wealthy from prior to a YouTube channel? So if you just
there will always be an excuse and reason why they need more money.
Well, I'm just trying to let you give a little nuggets for people to soak on and think on and chew on.
I would say because
again, I got approached once mine got demonetized.
All they can before literally everyone, just drops them. And I think we're starting to see that now. And Robert David Steele, I think, knows this. And this is the last big hurrah. I agree with the people saying that. I think that literally, like, let's get as much as we can this time. I don't see them. I mean, like Greg Hallett, I felt like this when we got past that tipping point where everyone was going, you know what, this guy's full of crap, right? Everyone's starting to realize
they knew when to move on. Charlie Ward was perfect. He moved on at the perfect time and skated out of it.
He jumped ship just the right time. You're absolutely right. And I think that he was probably advised to do that, Rice.
I agree. This is a very systematic thing that's been well thought out. That's why I like to say that Charlie Ward not only is, in my opinion, a bad person for doing these kind of things, but I think he works for the other side, and he's what you would call controlled opposition is the word that I like to use.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a level of gullibility. Speaking to people that known him for years, I spoke to a couple of people that have known him for years, and they fell out when Charlie started talking all this, all sort of the conspiracy theory stuff.
I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah, so there's a couple of people that no longer speak to him, and they have spoken to me, and they seem to be in agreement that he had some sort of mental breakdown, and that he's very gullible. And that these people that he had been involved with moving money, but actually he was like more of a runner. That he'd spoke to people that were in positions, and they had used him when they realised that, hang on, we've got something here. We can use him as a mouthpiece. They've then steered his narrative, and then set up ways to make money from it. So they're trying to say that he's just gullible. He really believes what he's being fed, and he thinks that he's not just Charlie, he's the Messiah. And that's what mental
health is a bitch, and I know that his son's death took a toll on him, man. So, and if that's really what this comes down to is a mental health issue, that's also would be narcissism because he's not
they haven't
recognizing.
Said that. I don't want us to make excuses for the bullshit because
I'm not trying to make excuses, but I am saying it is
grown adults. You know the difference between right and wrong. And if you're selling fake ass Chinese gold backed QFS system certificates, that just makes you the lowest of the lowest. I didn't even know that was going on, and when I heard that kind of pissed me off. That's just really effing sad that people are buying into this. Now, I had not heard that yet. I would imagine by now one of my subscribers would have said, "Did you know this?" And I would have went, "No, what? You guys give me a copy. Let me see what one looks like because this is just bullshit." So, in my videos recently, you try not to, because, again, people that know him, that I know, they're like, Charlie's a good guy. I'm like, okay, you guys, I get that. But they're like, we don't know what the hell he's doing. He's just, and I go, yeah, but yeah. Even so, I don't go watch all Charlie's videos. Is why I don't usually comment a lot about him for the most part, or most other people until somebody brings it to my attention. But, when it is brought to my attention, then I look at the stuff and I go, what are they saying? What are these people saying? Whether it's Charlie or anybody else. And I go, no, God, you have to respond to it in a video because it's so outrageous. And there's 50 other people out there, 100 other people, 1,000 other people who believe this lie. So you have to go through there and say, all right, let's get grounded, come back to reality. No more unicorns or pixie dust coming out of the ass. Let's talk about this. You know, you got to do those types of videos.
Did you see Charlie Ward talking about how he phoned up the central bank and the cleaning lady answered the phone? Have you heard about this? So
Only from your show, man. And when I saw that, by the way, I don't know who that lady is that does them skits. But those are awesome. I saw the one from today too. That was the cleaning lady skits.
Two different ladies.
Really
but yeah, we made a skit. We would try and do a skit every episode on Griftbusters. But on the first one, we made fun of this because it's actually happened. Charlie says, right, this is the God's honest truth. What he says happened, right? He said, well, I was on the phone to the central bank the other day. I phoned them up, and someone answered. They put me through a department. And the cleaning lady answered, as cleaning ladies clearly do while they're cleaning the bank.
Yeah, you know, because that's part of their job description.
Absolutely. So the cleaning lady answered, and he says, you know, he was just being cheeky Charlie. So he says that he asked the cleaning lady, oh, so how's it going there? And she says, oh, you know, it's quiet. And he said, I was just being cheeky because she's not under an NDA, you see, because she's just a cleaning lady. And he said, what do you think of the new computer systems then? And she goes, oh, they're beautiful. And then so Charlie says, oh, okay, so when do you think you're going to switch them on then? And she goes, well, I think it will be sometime beginning of April. So that was his intel. His intel came from the cleaning lady at a bank who was feather dusting the top secret quantum financial system computers, I guess. And that story was just another one of those ridiculous stories.
You just killed my whole thing. I was going to call the real QFS. Now that I hear this, I go, now I don't want to call him because people are going to go, hey, that's kind of like the cleaning lady. No, I've literally reached out to him because I want them to tell me about this. You don't want to talk about it, but now I'm like, wait, people are going to go, what? That's just like Charlie. You know, there's no credibility.
This is what I wanted to say earlier. What you were talking about and what, you know, you were talking about what you'd researched with the QFS system. You were not talking about that I phoned up and got the cleaning lady and talked. You know, that's the research you did. What he's saying is, you know, I know about this. Someone told me about it. I phoned up the bank. The cleaning lady had a chat with me about these computers. It's just clearly tripe, you know. So there's a difference there. You know, I'm not so skeptical when you talk to me about like the Chinese possibly, you know, doing this and this is the information I found. That's you know, that's one cart of apples, but looking at a whole different one when you're looking at, you know, this cleaning lady intel. And that's
something else. Somebody also told me, they go, hey, did you hear Charlie had Q on his show today? And I was like, what? Like the Q. They're like, yeah. I was like, are you just screwing with me or are you serious? You're telling me? He goes, yeah, he had him on today. I was like, ugh.
Yeah,
you
see
reasons.
The cleaning lady is Q. Okay, I just want to let everybody know that the HBO documentary, it's all about the cleaning lady being exposed as Q.
Yeah, so Charlie, that's brilliant. So Charlie had said it's at the beginning of 30 Reasons, actually. He goes, I was talking to Q this morning, and, you know, he said he loves my work. He loves what I'm doing. You know, he's fully backing what I'm doing, you know, and then people called him out on that. And he later goes, no, it's not that Q. How could you get them mixed up? I meant the other Q, you know, the financial system Q. And so how misleading is that? You know, you're going on the show, you said, oh, I was speaking to Q this morning on the phone, and he loves my work, he loves what I'm doing. No one's going to get misled.
He had a Q-tip in his ears.
Like, really, everybody knows when you say that letter, what happens. It triggers people. That's like one time I was on the same time with Santa Surfing, and I was listening to her respond to a question, and she said, you know, that's why we got to be careful about the information we let out, because I've had my hand swat by Q before. And I said, what? She goes, yeah, I got scolded for releasing information. I was like, by Q. Yeah. I was like, ugh. You know what I mean? You want to have faith in these people that they're out there doing something good. But when they start making that nonsense, I was like, man, I'm done with these people, man, because for those who are true Q followers, Q even told anybody no outside comms. You know what I mean? And that John Q Gold guy, I went after him one time too. And I said, I have a feeling I know who this idiot is.
That was on Twitter at QOHNGALT. I think that's the name. Do you want to talk about that?
Who do you think it is?
Yeah, we'll let you go ahead because I mean this is Pimpy's theory, but you agreed. So we'll let you go ahead and tell everybody who we think it is.
I sent you a message today.
Do you want to say it?
You had told me what you guys think, and so QAnon guy called John Galt, he was a big Q Quip Twitter account for any of those not aware. And actually, he was one of the first people with a big account, to be sharing my work, especially exposing the Greg Hallett situation, and then on to Charlie Ward. And he had privately messaged me and said, you could put out things to look at these people that promote them, right?
Bing, 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 bingo, dingo. You got the answer. Bingo, bingo.
Okay. Somebody in the comments, yeah.
So you guys can say what you thought. I'm not saying that. I said to you the other day, I think you could be right, but I'll explain something more.
I'll tell you why I think that person.
Go on. So, tell us what you guys think.
So when this whole little battle between Santa and Charlie went off, I went in and I said, look, at first I was like, how does this get so out of hand? You guys just tell me the story because too many people bring it up. What happened? And I'm hearing the story and they go, oh, it all comes from this John Q Goat guy on Twitter. And I was like, what about him? They go, why is JFK? I go, what? He's JFK Jr. Who? Did somebody tell you guys that? Yeah. We're being told this. Are you freaking kidding me? All of a sudden, that person does reach out to me. And I was like, okay, first of all, are you fucking telling people that you're, excuse the curse word, are you telling people that you're JFK Jr.? Is that what you're saying? Because does that make sense? That doesn't make no sense. Then I found out somebody sent me a video and the person wouldn't respond. Then all of a sudden, somebody sends me a video of Charlie Freak. And he's talking about how him and a handful of, and he names people off, have been contacted by JFK Jr. to help spread some information. And they are the chosen ones. And then he said what the profile's name is. And so I was like, why doesn't he just call his profile John F. K. Jr.? Why is it just John Go? Well, because he doesn't want people knowing. I was like, you fucking just said. You just told the whole world who the guy is. If he didn't want you people to know, he certainly would have contacted you idiots. I don't get this. Then I saw another interview out there, and this is what Charlie Freak was doing. Oh, this John Galt guy, he's such a great spirit. He's so loving. You can feel his energy. I was like, oh, good Lord, man. Either this guy's got a hard-on for this guy, or he is the John Galt guy, because there's no way in hell any guy should be talking about some profile this way. And I was like, I know. That's it. I'm convinced that this John Galt Q guy, whoever he is Charlie Freak is who it is. There's no separate John Galt guy. It's Charlie Freak. And he's just trying to make himself look bigger than he is. And he's full of shit. And so that's why I said it was. That's where I came up with that, is just listening to him talk about him and claiming that they have been approached by John F. K. Jr. Why the hell would JFK Jr. reach out to you and then trying to hide his anonymity when he could just, he's telling you guys and it's already out there. And you're telling everybody that John Galt's JFK Jr. So if he was trying to hide who he was, we did a piss poor job picking new people, and you're telling everybody in your videos. So why would he need to hide? He could just come out and say who he is.
So I went on Charlie Freak's show a little while back, and he had said to me that he'd spoken to John Galt and that he was protecting me and protecting Charlie Freak, etc. And he made this big thing about it. And so then I was honest, and I said it then, I'll say it again now. It's like, well, do I think that he's JFK Jr.? No. What I do is I think that with him backing when he didn't have to, I was a very small YouTuber at the time, my work and putting it out there and getting me noticed for exposing people, misleading people, I felt that was a good thing. I felt that his private chats with me, he seemed like a good man. He'd never personally told me, he'd never said to me, and I've never seen anything of him saying that he was JFK Jr. So Charlie Freak had said these things, and I said, well, I think that he must be a good guy, but I don't know if I believe that, but I thank him for his support. So so Rice had said what you suspect, and I think I kind of said, well, yeah, that I think you could be right. It's a possibility, but I got an email like 2 days ago from John Galt, and he doesn't usually email me. I usually get it. I had messages from Twitter. And so, yeah, he messaged me, and what I can confirm is that, he doesn't live in America. He's not JFK Jr. He didn't even work on the Trump team, is what I can gather from what he told me. I'm not going to give more information out because, you know, he told me some stuff in confidence. But, you know, I still think he's a good guy. But now I'm thinking that from what he told me, I don't think it is Charlie Freak, but maybe.
Okay, well, now real quick, what I want to say to anybody who's watching is just because we may be insinuating that they are the same individual doesn't mean that we're talking crap about Charlie Freak necessarily. No, I just because I don't want everybody's like there's a few people like you're talking about you're focusing on the wrong Charlie. I'm not putting me personally. I'm not putting Charlie Freak in the Charlie Ward category. It was just talking about the potentiality that Charlie Freak was playing two roles in this game, and it doesn't diminish who Charlie Freak is, and it's not. I just wanted to. We're not grifting. We're not grift busting Charlie Freak, and we're not popping up Charlie Freak's opium bubble.
So with Charlie Freak, like I said, I've been on his channel. You know, I want to make it clear that I, regardless of maybe things or dates and predictions have been said in the past, you know, I've been on his show, and I think that he's a godly person, and I think that he puts a lot of emphasis on, you know, his, you know, the whole God thing, and it's not quite. For me, but it seems from talking to him personally.
That's a money maker.
Well, but he's not making any money, is he? He got kicked off YouTube.
He does. He gets donations and stuff. He does. So he's got an animal rescue place. He gets money donated to him. They got their own little private thing. You know where Charlie Freak got his start from? And I thought it was kind of cool. Back in the olden days, he used to decode the music. Remember, play the music backwards, and you can hear what they were saying. That's where he got his start from back in the day. Now, here's my thing about Charlie. Here's my thing about Charlie Freak. I'm one of these people that if you start invoking God's name and asking for money in the same sense, then I have an issue with it. But I know I shouldn't. But it's just one of those things for me. You know, I try to get a vibe off the person to see how sincere they are. But in the YouTube sphere, there's so many people who are committing fraud in the name of God. And that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Now, I don't have any proof that he is. I'm just saying for me, you know, that's just the feeling that I got off of Charlie Freak. You know, I just, when I hear these interviews and people were telling me crap that, you know, he was saying, I was like, you know, this man claims that he can tap into the Akashic records. Well, if you could do that, how come you couldn't determine that the people around you were or were not full of shit? Or why can't you tell us a lot more? Because if you got access to the Akashic records, then you should be really, really super wise, and you should have a lot of information that you should be sharing with people, or you're just full of crap. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. Just do your thing, but leave God out of it, you know, unless you're sincere about what you're trying to do with your stuff. I'm just one of these people like that. You know, it's just when he did that, it just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can fully understand that. I mean, you know, there is this animal sanctuary thing. I've seen pictures of him with horses, but aside from that, I've not seen any.
Oh, is it a horse rescue? I said dog rescue, didn't I? Yeah, my bad.
I think. Well, I don't know. It's an animal sanctuary, isn't it? I know that much. But anyway, yeah, I think that we're putting too much. So John Galt is still a mystery, but
yeah, it is what it is. We can move past
it. It's speculation on my part. Yeah.
He's not JFK Jr.
No, he's not JFK Jr.
Did you guys have? Did you guys have anything that you specifically wanted to bring up?
Yeah. You said earlier, Rice, that about I'd given you the respect of waiting for you to do something you were doing. So I was looking into, obviously we're doing Griftbusters show, and you know, so many people had messaged me about Kim. I want to say it wrong now. Kim Gogan, is that right?
Yeah, Gogan.
Yeah, Gogan. Yeah, I said it right. Good. Off of Life Force, Kim Possible, and you know, from what I'd gathered on the situation, you know, I thought, well, there's definitely a case for me to talk about her here. And then, literally, as I had gathered this information, some of it very questionable, I saw that Rice was flying out to meet her. So I thought, yeah, you know what? I can't report. I've got to wait till Rice goes there, talks to her, gets the scoop, looks at whatever he needs to look at. And so I just thought I'd give Rice the time. I messaged you, didn't I? And I just said, this is what I've got. The main thing that kind of drew me to that, okay, I want to talk about this, is she had promised, was it $3,330 to every bank account to her followers? Was that
well,
correct?
it wasn't just to her followers; it was
everyone.
Yeah, and so when I went to visit her, I wanted to clarify, like, so what happens if somebody has more than one bank account? What happens to the people who don't have bank accounts? Because like, you're going to be helping a lot more. You're not going to be helping the people that actually need it. So most people who are wealthy, who have money, have multiple bank accounts. So they're going to get multiple drops apparently, but she's saying it's being blocked. And if you want to bring me on for an interview, you want to have a private conversation, I will share with you. I've been very transparent about the whole situation. Yeah. So I don't mind giving you my perspective.
Let me continue, like, because that was where I started from, really. And I did go onto one of your lives, and I saw. Well, I asked the question first, and then I kind of left it after her answer. But someone else kept asking that question. Well, where is the money? Where is the money? And eventually, you're like, right, well, we've got this question. And she was like, I'll address it. Okay. And she said, well, you need to phone up the NSA and ask them, where is your money? And she was like, yeah, just go ahead, phone up the NSA, ask them where your money is. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, okay. All right. And she was like, it was been blocked by the NSA. And obviously a lot of her followers were in that live chat, and they were like, yeah, see, that's I was like, no, guys, has someone phoned the NSA?
There's some lady at the NSA going, gosh damn this chick, whoever she is.
Well, if that was the case too.
I'm thinking I'm going to be like, oh, hi, NSA, where's my money? Can you go to who told you
that? I'm sorry, I'm the cleaning lady.
Is this a prank?
In a way, it could bring the wrong attention on her.
You got to do the same skit, use the same cleaning lady and make it for her. Oh, Kim, you called him. I'm looking for my money.
It's just one of quite a few questionable things, and I spoke to you briefly, Rice, and I thought that's late. And I saw your summary afterwards, what you thought, and from what I got from that, that's kind of like there was she'd shown you a lot of documents. You couldn't necessarily disprove all that she was saying. That there was maybe more questions you come out of it than what got answered, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, if you
the pictures were. I mean, the best way for me to say it is, she provided a lot of information, but it wasn't anything that was solid saying that it was her, because there was no pictures of her in the SID vaults. They were pictures that, like I said in the review, that anyone could have gotten. These code books, other people prior to Kim, I have had, show me the different variations of these code books. So that's not something new. It just wasn't anything that I hadn't really seen in some capacity before.
Is she one of these people that swear they got the codes to release the wealth that's been hidden from us? Is she one of these people?
Well, she claims that she and I sent you some links. It's kind of hard to because
explain. Mike Contrell says the same thing.
She claimed
he's got codes that he could put in.
It's and not codes. She claims
Judy, right. There's another lady named Ruby. They all claim they have these magical codes.
Well, she claims to be in charge of it, not a code. Like she claims to be.
People claim they're in charge.
Like to be like formerly a trustee position, now a guardianship position, but it's not. It doesn't act as a trust or a guardianship in the way that the legal or lawful sense. So there's no circumstantial evidence. There's no contracts. None of those kind of things.
There's some massive claims in her story, and so I will be. So what Rice was kind of saying earlier was, I've done my investigations and things. You're free to talk about, which I was anyway. But I just was wanting to give Rice the respect of,
which I appreciate. And if you want to, I'll. There's some things that I'm not going to relay publicly.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with one. I'll go on is like she does have the United Network News, which has a subscription, and then they have a package that you can get a cable deal and stuff. I don't look at what she's doing as being harmful. I did tell her I thought it was irresponsible of her to tell everybody she was depositing $3,330 in everybody's accounts, because you'll have those irresponsible people that are going to believe it. So if I was her, and like I mentioned, I would have just done it after it hit the accounts. Then I would have taken credit for it. Not the other way around.
Straight afterwards. By the way, guys, just deposit or
but she's not making 500.
Like, wow, okay, you're real.
She's not making $500,000 a month. She's not even making like a substantial percentage of that a month. I don't really feel like what she and Life Force are doing is straight up causing harm. And she was nothing
so how
but.
do you know this? Have you got a bank statement? She runs a network, a streaming network. Like, how much does that cost to subscribe to? How many people have subscribed to that?
Well, dude, let me tell you this though.
How do you know it? Because they're dead. They can't tell you.
They're using a Malaysian service that they license through, and somehow they're able to have Netflix originals, stuff that you would see as Disney Channel originals, stuff that you would see like on HBO, Showtime, like the actual channels. Yeah. So it's almost like illegal looking, but somehow
it's probably like back in the older days when we used to have cable box. We used to have this little clip on. We used to hijack their neighbor's cable.
It's like that, but
she
claims, she says everything is licensed and she's operating. So then if she's got people calling the NSA and she's bringing attention to herself and she's selling a illegal streaming service, she could be putting herself in a lot of bad predicaments.
But here's the thing: wacky people don't know they're doing bad predicaments. If you get my drift.
Well, I'm not like I said in the chat, how many of these people actually phone the NSA? Because I just saw a lot of them going, yeah, see, you could just phone the NSA if you like. But I was thinking, no, guys, who's done that? Because
people in my Telegram group are like, let's do it, and people are like telling Kim like, if you can give somebody access codes to go do this, I'm real close to there. I'll go. Give me the access code. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I've got people like
beers on me. You know what I mean? Just hit the bar. I mean,
there's a lot of things I could bring out. Perhaps we'll talk privately first, Rice, and I will touch on it from what I find. But I've got a lot of things sent into me. I won't touch them all now. I'll go into it in the future. But I just wanted to bring that up because that's what you brought up earlier. And I've got your take on what you've seen, and I'll speak to you more at some point. And I wanted to definitely bring up the $3,330.
Multiply that times 2 as well.
Take
off to 0.
It just that is my reasoning behind it. I'm not just like picking on people.
Well,
there's definitely some spiritual warfare involved in this in some capacity.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I had. I wanted to talk. We'll talk about that. That was all.
Sweet. What about you, Mr. Pimpy? You got anything you want to add before we decide to end the stream?
I just thought it'd be cool to talk to him. My friend's like, you got to find a way to reach out to him, man. He's like a cool motherfucker, and I was like, he is. His channel,
he really is, man.
Like, that is funny.
He's ballsy. When I found
out, you said, he's commenting in the chat room. I was like, dude, reach out to him. Let's do this.
He's ballsy.
So, let me ask you. I mean, obviously I would imagine before you came on there must have been a million questions that you had. Feel free to ask away. I have nothing to hide. Look, I get it. Everybody that's even did an interview with him is automatically going to be a link to him. And I do talk about the same subject matters, but I think my approach is a little different. I want to believe that something out there could be like that, but without the proof, it's kind of hard to do. So,
I've got, I've watched some of your stuff. I watched some of your stuff before, or people send me clips and go look at from 1 hour in or whatever. So, I've watched snippets of your work before. I watched a little bit before we came on today. And, I liked, before the balloon popping, the hopium balloon popping, I saw another video where you were talking about Charlie Ward. Someone had sent me that as well. So I give a lot of respect to people that, have done that and then will say, you know what, even if they just say some really interesting questions are being asked and perhaps should get and maybe pause what they're doing there. So I'll give you respect for that. I mean, I did look at some of your older videos. I'm really interested about the Russell J. Gould thing that we'd already discussed in this interview. And in the same interview, you were kind of going, but then this John Galt guy comes out and says about Charlie Ward and why are we listening to that guy? Because Charlie Ward's probably all right, and Greg Hallett. I don't know about that, but he could be the king. He seems more.
This is as I was going along. You start to go, well, could this be possible? When I first put out his video, I go, well, it's interesting news. But then, I don't have time to really drill into it. But, let's share the information and then I'll get feedback. A lot of times,
let's just say, could this be possible rather than, that sounds true. You're saying, could this be possible? Guys, look at it yourself. And so,
I do that. anything is possible. But here's my thing: I tell everybody, look, you got to look at it from what are the pros, what are the cons, how realistic is this? Look at it from 30,000 feet. Don't just take everything as 100% proof. Be careful. Again, I tell them this all the time: ask for receipts, ask for proofs. Also, another thing that I do when I put the names NESARA GESARA in the videos, a lot of times when I know this will grab people's attentions, I put it there to bring information to them that might be contrary to what they're hearing. But the only way I can get their attention is to slap NESARA GESARA on there so they can go in and see it. And then that will come back to bite my ass. People will attack me. They'll go, wait a minute. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, but you got to approach it the same way. Everybody's got to take everything with a grain of salt. Ask for receipts, ask for proofs. I share all my information. People are more than welcome to go in there. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Prove me wrong. I don't have a problem with it. Then I'll come back and make a correction. That's the right approach, in my opinion. I tell people, forget the names, NESARA GESARA. Forget the 17th letter movement. Focus on what the movements were about. How realistic are these? Can these possibly happen? Maybe, but we'll keep an eye out for it. That's the best we can do.
Yeah. So yeah, in summary, I was happy to come on today. Someone had said to me, look, I can't, was one of your followers. I talked to Pimpy. I'll set something up. I said, I'm really busy at the moment, but I'd love to do that at some point. And that was just before the balloons video. And so I was glad to arrange this. And it's always a pleasure coming on with you, Rice. We've done each time. It's been interesting. Do it again.
Yeah, tell your friends, the Grift Busters, man. I like what you guys are doing. But my friend says to me, he goes, hey, look at that Just Ice guy or Justice. I go, what about him? He goes, is he nodding off? My friend's an ex-heroin addict. I was like, really? You think everybody's a heroin addict? He goes, dude, he's nodding off. If you watch the videos, it does look like he's nodding off from time to time. Not everybody's a heroin addict, dude. Calm down.
I think it's probably the length of the videos, because one of them we did was 3 hours, but also he was having a smoke.
Yeah, I was gonna say he might just be high, and he's that's what it is. He's smoking weed.
Yeah, which,
I think I seen him do it on the video one time.
I had to turn my camera off earlier and mute my mic so I could do that, and somebody knew what I was doing. So,
tell him I'm just razzing him a little bit. But my friend's like, dude, he's nodding off. I was like, man. Because he's an ex user, He's like, dude, he's not a heroin addict, man.
I'm sure the other guys will see this video, and if either of you two find anything, timestamps, or you want to make anything to send in to Grift Busters or anything like that, then support us, be a part of it. If you find anything, let us know. Man. Help us to stop these people misleading people, like you already are in your own way. But if you've got anything to send in to us, please hit me up.
I love this little
I'd like for you guys
keep it up, seriously, because they put the message across clearly. You have to sometimes bring humor to a serious situation so that what happened with that one subscriber doesn't happen to others. And you know what? Sometimes the people learn a lesson more when you do it through humor. And those messages that you get from these skits are loud and clear, and they're very clever. I like it a whole lot, but I still think you should do one with the cleaning lady calling the NSA. She's got a new job and she's not working for the NSA.
Maybe next episode we're covering Kim. We'll do something with phoning.
Hello, I am the cleaning lady.
Wait a minute, is this the same cleaning lady? Yes, I got a new job now. Work for the NSA.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you haven't seen already, you're both on Twitter. There is a Twitter account. I've been meaning to mention it. Well, we have mentioned it, but I've been meaning to do a little bit on it in Grift Busters. But there is an account called The Cleaning Lady on Twitter, and the tweets are flipping hilarious.
Send me links,
especially all the time. Please check it out.
It's and look, if you guys, when we end this, hang on for me for a minute, because the whole point of this is I wanted you two to be able to connect as well.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it.
Anything you guys want to add, or are you guys ready to wrap up?
No, I'm good. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, well, I appreciate everybody for tuning
anytime. Anytime, man. You guys want to talk? If you want to talk, just let me know.
Yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And again, make sure you subscribe to all of our YouTube channels, Rice TVX, MC Crew Truth, Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes, and Pimpy's Investment Chats. Links are going to be down below on all of our channels. Support us all. And as always, I encourage everyone to be the change by practicing change. And on behalf of Pimpy and Mr. M, I love you all. We love you all.